This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News. News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Yeah, let me tell you about that old man named Nathan BEdford ForREst. How y'all doing today? Y'all not gonna do something like that. Try to compete with the sound, and we gotta realize what is very important here. A lot of times, people focus too much on what go wrong. Let's focus on what did go right. We survived for a pillow. Black folks still here. It's 2016, so give yourselves a round of applause for that. We survived. That bad man ForREst is dead. The man is dead, but his spirit is very much alive in this country. Just take a look around. You got ears to hear and eyes to see. Let me tell you about Nathan BEdford ForREst. I think it's very important. I had recently went to the National New African American History Museum. They got that nice, shiny Emmett Till casket on display, all nice and shiny and in good condition. Because racism is still in good condition. White supremacy is still in good condition. And therein lies the problem. We need to know about this history. I remember reading in the newspaper, the Clarion Ledger, when the 30th anniversary of Emmett Till happened, they interviewed the brother Roy Bryant, the brother of the guy, him and his brother, his half brother, J.W. Malum, kidnapped Emmett Till along with some other people. Some black folks helped too. That's another story. But he was interviewed. He came back to the Delta to live. And he would start getting all this national media coverage. And so the reporter came from Jackson and interviewed him. And he said, look, yeah, I'm back in the Delta. The black folks today ain't the same black folks from 1950 something. But here's the thing, they don't know nothing. Because if they knew who I was, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. Therein lies the problem. When we tell millennials and young people that, hey, you courageous, you better than we are, we're not telling them the truth. Because what good for me to be a soldier that's fearless and I don't got the correct marching orders, and I don't know military science, and I don't know all the things I need to know in order to win a war. Not just a battle, but a war. George Washington, he lost more battles than he won, but he won the war because it's the quality of the battles that he won, and also he had the help of black people. The first black person died, or the first person that died in the American Revolutionary War was a black man. And you could argue that he died over police brutality, Crispus Attucks. It was a double agent spy, Lafayette's manservant, a black man that gave George Washington the logistics in order to win the war over the British Army. This was a black man. It was a black man that built Washington, D.C. from memory, Benjamin Banneker. But let's go to Nathan BEdford ForREst. Nathan BEdford ForREst is an interesting character. He was born July 13th, 1821. He was a twin like Elvis. Maybe an evil twin, but he was a twin nonetheless. His sister was Fanny. She was born with him, but she did not make it out of childhood. So he was the oldest of 12 children. And he came out the backwoods of Tennessee, Bedford County. His father was William Bedford. He was a blacksmith. And Nathan BEdford ForREst was interested because he had no formal education. And when he joined the Confederacy, he actually raised his own money he raised his own army with his own money. And he actually rose from the rank of private to a general, which is very unusual in one war. He was able to rise from a rank of a private to a general. And his tactics that he did on horseback, he was an expert horseman. He was known as the Wizard of the Saddle, is still studied in military academies around the world. So what he did on horseback, this cat with no formal education, no military training, is still applied in military warfare using tanks. As a matter of fact, people like General Patton, Ernest Rommel, the Desert Fox, the Nazi war tank genius, they all studied the tactics of Nathan Bedford ForREst in order to apply to their war strategy. So Nathan Bedford ForREst is interesting. I call him the Sam Walton of slavery. He owned the largest slave market before the start of the Civil War. So I call him the Sam Walton of slavery because he owned human super Walmart, where he sold human flesh, human lives. He traded in that stock. He was a real estate speculator, and also he was a well-known gambler and a duelist. As a matter of fact, Nathan Bedford ForREst, he went into business with his uncle, Jesse ForREst, and he was killed by some white men, the Matlock brothers. So he did his best Clint Eastwood Unforgiven impression. And he went and actually killed some of the brothers that killed his uncle. And one of the Matlock brothers ended up serving for him in the Confederacy during the Civil War. So he's a very fascinating guy. So he actually got away with killing white men as well as killing black people and never, spend any time in jail for it. So he had a quick temper, but he was well-known. He was good at business. He made his fortune out of, trading people like livestock. He had the largest slave market in America on Adams Street. And today, Adams Street has the juvenile court. So they still trading in black lives. Black lives only matter when you're making white folks money. So, so that's Nathan Bedford ForREst's living legacy. So he also was a city councilman, an alderman. He was elected in 1858 as a city alderman of Memphis. And what's interesting, how much time I got? About 5 minutes? 5? Okay. What's interesting that you judge a tree by the fruit that it produces. His grandson, Nathan Bedford ForREst II, Nathan Bedford ForREst, the man, the elder, he was the first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He started that fraternity, a Christian terrorist organization. A Christian terrorist organization. Not an Islamic one, a Christian terrorist organization that is still protected by the state. He was the first leader of that. His grandson, Nathan Bedford ForREst II, became a Grand Dragon of the Klan. And they actually had a college in Georgia and Atlanta called Lanier College. It's defunct, I believe, now. But the Klan actually believed in educating this racist white supremacist thing for generations. And then Nathan Bedford ForREst II had a son, Nathan Bedford ForREst III. He was actually with the West Point. He went to West Point following his, great-grandfather's footsteps. And he became a highly decorated brigadier general during World War II. He was actually killed in action back in 1943. His body was never recovered, or maybe it was recovered, I'm not sure. But he was the last male descendant of Nathan Bedford ForREst. So he died, but he still had relatives around. And Nathan Bedford ForREst, I always call him, it's some new stuff. He is the father of private prisons to me, because after the war, he had got a labor contract for President A.L.L. to use black slave labor to raise cotton, hogs, and stuff like that on President A.L.L., which is an island between Memphis and Arkansas and the Mississippi River. So that's a part of his legacy as well. So this is things we need to know. And every year, he's buried on Union Avenue, one of our busy streets in Memphis, as a big equestrian horse statue on top of his body, him and his wife's body, they lie in the tomb. He died in October 1877. Well, this is what they say about him. They said, the white people that love him say he was a civil rights leader. Because this one speech he did, whitey, that's what I'm reading now. But they always ask me what I'm reading. And the white folks, the good white folks, they were so impressed with my open mind, they gave me this big 500-page book about Nathan Bedford ForREst. It's called A Rebel Born. I haven't read it yet. But I'm going to read a little bit of it. But this is the thing. Black folks, let me say, I'll shut up because we got no audio visual. Black folks.
We got 5 minutes because you ain't got audio.
Okay, black folks are too concerned about proving things to the devil. You said, devil, please have mercy. The devil don't know mercy. How they can know a devil just can give you more hell? Because that's the devil. You don't beg the devil for no mercy. You got to think about this. The good professor brought up Dred Scott. I was in Ferguson 2 years ago, and I was covering all the. I didn't get gas. I knew where to go, And I was just talking to people that participated in Ferguson. Well, people don't understand. I went to school in St. Louis. When you come out I-55, one of the best things they have going is not the arch, it's that shiny, shiny courthouse. It's like that shiny, shiny casket of Emmett Till. That shiny, shiny courthouse. But he told Dred Scott in 1857, Negro, you have no rights that a white man is bound to respect. Dred Scott is buried outside of Ferguson. This is 2016. Black people, you're not citizens. We never been citizens. When y'all get mad about Katrina, when y'all get all y'all feelings about Trump and all this stuff, let me make this clear. When them white folks on media said, you are refugees, you are refugees. You don't have no citizenship. We don't have no citizenship. I ain't even getting into all the sovereignty stuff. I'm just talking about this common sense. Because if you got to vote every 30 years to make sure you keep the right to vote, you have no citizenship. When they told you was 3/5, and then we're going to make some amendments, you have no citizenship. When they passed the 13th Amendment, wait a minute, we could punish them if we want to. Slavery never been abolished.
Make them a slave again.
Make them a slave. We still slaves. Malcolm X said only a fool will let their kids get educated by their enemies. You beg your enemies for knowledge of self. Knowledge of self, the only education that really matters in a world like this is knowledge of self. And you ain't gonna get it going to their schools. Harvard, Yale, all that was made on slave money, trading your ancestors. The largest healthcare provider in this country, you sell insurance policies on slaves. Wall Street was built by slaves. The first commodities were traded on Wall Street with black people, and they still trading black people on Wall Street. The largest prison strike in American history is happening. You have no clue because you didn't hear the tree fall. Because you wait for CNN to tell you they're too busy playing in the water. To tell you there's the largest prison strike going on right now. So what I'm saying is, if you depend on your enemies for a job, for your knowledge of self, and all this other stuff, you're a fool and you don't deserve to exist. Because the first law of nature is self-preservation. And one thing about people like BEdford ForREst, they didn't care about proving anything to black folks. They want you to know, I know who you are, but guess what? You'll never know as long as I am in charge, because once you find out who you are, it's over for me. Playtime is over. We can't let you know who you are. That's why they burned the library in Alexandria. That's why, I ain't talking about Virginia, I'm talking about Egypt. I'm from Memphis, not Egypt. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Okay? So don't crap, excuse me. They know, when they name places out of Memphis, they know about Freemasonry, they know all this stuff. What I'm saying, get hip to this stuff. Get hip to this stuff. America could not exist without black people. This is Africa. Black folks are already here. Now, I'm gonna dig you up another one. Thank you. I'm sorry, God bless everybody. Keep peace. Keep hope alive. Thank you.